here about Christian burial. There is a question that comes to us today: is it right or wrong for Christians to be cremated? There is nothing in the Bible against it. No one will lose salvation by being cremated. However, the burial of a Christian is like sowing seed. It is like putting the body in a motel so it can sleep until the resurrection. This is the way Paul speaks of it in First Thessalonians chapter 4. He speaks of the body as a seed in First Corinthians chapter 15. You don't burn the seed before you plant it. Neither do you burn a person before you put him in a motel or hotel to go to sleep. Plant the body in the earth like a seed is a testimony and evidence of your faith in the future resurrection. Undoubtedly, the body of Stephen was terribly mutilated. They took him up tenderly and put him in the ground as you would plant a seed. Stephen had gone into the presence of Christ, who was waiting in heaven for him. His body went into the ground to wait the resurrection. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 42 through 44, it says, so also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, and it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, and it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, and it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. That's First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 42 through 44 again. And I can see that cremation sets forth, I cannot see that cremation sets forth this idea. Rather, this is the picture of real Christian burial. Some people protest that we are running out of space for graves. My friend, this old earth has taken in bodies for thousands of years, and there is still room. Now, as we move on to verse 3, as for Saul, he made havoc of the church, entering into every house and hauling men and women, committing them to prison. This is a young man full of zeal. Remember that he later wrote about himself in Philippians 3:6 concerning zeal persecuting the church. Again, that's Philippians 3 and verse 6. Then in verse 4, therefore they that were scattered abroad went everywhere preaching the word. Here we see the effect of the persecution. Actually, it did not hinder the church, but furthered the work of the church. Later on, Paul will give this same kind of testimony after he had been put into prison in Rome in Philippians chapter 1 and verse 12. But I would ye should understand, brethren, that the thing which happened to me have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel. That's again Philippians chapter 1 and verse 12. I do not believe that the church can ever be hurt from the outside. It can be hurt from the inside, as we will see later in this chapter. And we talked about it last time, and we talk about it often. How the number of unsaved people that are in the church. I'm going to say part of that for later, but we talked about probably 75% of people who are in our churches today, according to Billy Graham, are lost. J. Vernon McGee says probably 9 to 11% of the conversions he saw through his radio ministry were true conversions. And then if you take the numbers of Christians who have replicated themselves, sheep begetting sheep, 4% is a scary number. That there might only be 4% of church members who know Jesus as their personal Savior. And so, we have deacons, board members, we have officers of the church that don't have the spirituality of a box of rocks. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But